Bitcoin slipping at one point today below $85,000. It looked like this sell-off that's afflicted the cryptos at one point last week seemed to have eased, but it's back on. We're joined by Alexandra Blume, founder and CEO of 2Prime. Alexandra, thanks very much for coming on the show. What do you think has been causing this weakness in cryptos?
Andy, great to be back with you. I would say a couple of things. First of all, this is just the life of a Bitcoiner. I think if you zoom out a little bit over the last years of Bitcoin, there have been 21 pullbacks of 30% or greater. And I was counting in my career, I think I've seen 14 of those pullbacks. And so in one sense, it's just normal behavior of an asset that has natural supply and demand dynamics. At the same time, there are crypto-specific things. There's big liquidations in October that I think the market is still recovering from. And on top of that, we saw the Bank of Japan. It looks like they're going to increase interest rates, which was a bit unexpected. And liquidity conditions broadly have been sort of tight. But at the same time, I can tell you, our firm does Bitcoin-backed loans, and we're doing several $100 million of loans just this week. And we're working with clients that are large operating businesses that have Bitcoin, hundreds of millions on their balance sheet. And I don't see any of them pulling back or looking to sell. In fact, they're looking for ways to generate more return on that Bitcoin. And I think they see this pullback as a time to either acquire more Bitcoin or to be more aggressive in finding other ways to monetize the asset. And so, I think we've seen an institutionalization of the asset class over the last few years, especially since the ETF was introduced. And as a result, you have more counter-cyclical behavior where, 30% drawdown is not unusual, but there's companies that are looking to buy around these prices.
So you just remind us, you do Bitcoin loans. How does that work? You lend money to people who own Bitcoin and the security is the cryptocurrencies?
Correct. We're one of the largest Bitcoin-backed lenders in the world. We've done about $3 billion of loan volume over the last 2.5 years. Business started 7 years ago, but lending about 2.5 years ago. And that's correct. People send in over-collateralized excess Bitcoin, and we'll lend a portion of it as dollars to the client, and then that Bitcoin secures the loan. I think market-wide, last cycle, it got up to about 60 billion of total loans, and I think we're somewhere in that range currently as well. However, Bitcoin's twice the price it was when those other peaks were reached last cycle.
And how do you guys raise the money to lend? How do you finance yourselves?
Sure. We work with a network of capital partners, including banks and family offices and private businesses that are looking for a return in excess of treasuries that is actually a very low risk kind of loan with how over collateralized they are. And so we lend to some of the largest Bitcoin miners in the world. We lend to funds, family offices, prime brokers, and other groups in the space that have large amounts of Bitcoin. And we manage that collateral and earn an interest rate.
Tell us, for people who don't spend all day in Bitcoin or in crypto like you do, what's happening in the market that we haven't heard about? What's a big under the surface trend in crypto right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I see in the background, we're speaking with new clients that are regular businesses, that are public companies that are onboarding Bitcoin and looking for ways to use their balance sheet in more intelligent ways. Some groups have just bought Bitcoin, but there are real operating businesses that are looking for ways to put it to work, either through loans or they hire us to generate a return on that Bitcoin in a low risk way. And so I think you'd be amazed at the names of the companies and the number of companies that are coming online over the next couple months, Q1 and Q2 of next year. I know we're onboarding several 11-figure businesses that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Beyond that, I think there's a wave of, like Charles Schwab, for example, is bringing Bitcoin to retail investors early part of next year. We're looking at, JP Morgan just announced a structured node. And so there's a huge broad swath of new products coming that I think will continue inflows into the into Bitcoin.
That's interesting. Charles Schwab, right now, they're not offering clients Bitcoin?
Not retail clients cannot buy or sell Bitcoin in their accounts, but they say they're introducing this in the early part of next year, which is, trillions of new assets available to buy Bitcoin.
Oh, for sure. But the ETFs, I guess they've been out now for more than a year, but they transformed the crypto space, as far as I can see, made it much easier for people to kind of put a toe in the water and without opening an actual crypto account.
That's right. One, just by BlackRock creating a Bitcoin related product. It kind of gives cover to every asset manager to offer this without it being an embarrassing or shunned kind of asset. It really brought it into the mainstream. And then the ease of access to an ETF, simpler custody, regular financial rails has allowed a lot of new participants to enter. And I only can expect that to continue. I just saw, I think last week, that the Bitcoin ETF has become BlackRock's most profitable ETF product in their entire business. So I'm sure they're motivated to keep it growing.
Right. Thank you, Alexander. Always great hearing from you.
Good to speak with you again.
Alexander Blume, founder and CEO at 2Prime, the big Bitcoin-based lender.